Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Alleged gunman shot by cops in Clarendon. A man was shot dead during an alleged confrontation with the police along the Osborne Store main road in Clarendon Tuesday afternoon. An illegal firearm was reportedly seized during the incident, the police stated. The Independent Commission of Investigations (INDECOM) has launched a probe into the incident. The dead man has been identified as 24-year-old Davin Scaife, otherwise called Tutu, a resident of Osborne Store. Police reports indicated that around 4:10 p.m., a team of 3 police personnel from the Clarendon Division responded to information that gunmen were seen at a bar along the roadway. On their arrival, one member of the team reported they entered the bar while others gave cover. It was reported that on entering the bar, Scaife was seen coming in from a rear door. He reportedly pointed a gun at the policeman, who, in fear for his life, discharged his service weapon, hitting the now deceased. Scaife, it was further reported, fell backwards and made another attempt to shoot at the policeman while lying on the ground. Another member of the police party, who was outside, discharged his service weapon at him. A 9mm semi-automatic pistol was reported taken from the injured man. He was rushed to the Main Pen Hospital, where he succumbed to his injuries. No member of the police team nor any of the patrons in the bar were injured. Attorney Asad Buchanan granted stay of 2-year suspension. Attorney at law Asad Buchanan was granted a stay of 2-year suspension from practicing law. The stay was granted by the Court of Appeal pending the outcome of his appeal against the suspension period imposed by the Disciplinary Committee of the General Legal Counsel, GLC, which has been described as excessive. Case management conference is set for July next year, and after that, a date will be set for the hearing of the appeal. Following the stay, Buchanan will now be able to practice and will be able to go to the United Kingdom Privy Council to represent dancehall artist Vybz Kartel, who is appealing against his murder conviction. Buchanan was suspended this month after he was found guilty of professional misconduct for offensive comments he made against the Director of Public Prosecutions, Paula Llewellyn. He pleaded guilty in November to breaching ethic rules that guided the conduct of attorneys authorized to practice in Jamaica. He also admitted breaching the canons of the legal profession, canons of professional ethic rules. While co-hosting a program on YouTube in August, Buchanan had quoted from the lyrics of Vybz Kartel's song Menace, in which he, Kartel, director of the DPP, performed a sexual act. Attorney at law John Clark, instructed by King's Counsel Valvanita Roberts, represented Buchanan. Sandra Minot Phillips, KC, and Simon Mayhem, KC, represented the GLC. Concern expressed that only 39% of early childhood educators are trained. Only 39% of early childhood educators are trained. That's according to senior lecturer in early childhood education at the University of the West Indies, Dr. Clark. Dr. Clark made the revelation on day 1 of the Jamaica Teachers Association Early Childhood Education Center Conference. She said that approximately 11,000 early childhood educators, just over 4,000, are trained to the minimum diploma level. She said that means that every 100 children, there is 1 trained teacher. Dr. Clark said this must be corrected to improve the sector.
This chart here talks about the qualifications of teachers. So there are approximately 11,000 early childhood teachers in the system, but there are approximately 4,000 something teachers who are trained to the minimum diploma level. The largest producer of teachers in Jamaica is Heart Trust. Many teachers, however, do not have the qualifications. And this has a significant impact on quality. So St. Andrew has the most trained teachers with 442 with a first degree, with a diploma 366, and with a master's degree 65. But then let's take a look at this. Because there are 4,312 teachers with a diploma, first degree or master's, only 39% of teachers are trained. 39% of teachers are trained. And what this means is that for every 100 children you only have 4 trained teachers.
Police probing double murder on Red Hills Road in St. Andrew. The police are probing the shooting death of 2 men on Red Hills Road in St. Andrew yesterday morning. Dead are delivery drivers 30-year-old Savannah Palmer, otherwise called Chavez, and 26-year-old Corey Hunter, otherwise called Twinny, of Colbeck Avenue, Kingston 20. Reports are that around 12:30 a.m., both men were sitting at a shop in the area when gunmen alighted from a motor vehicle and shot them. The police were alerted, and on their arrival, the men were seen lying in a pool of blood. Palmer and Hunter were taken to hospital where they were pronounced dead. MP Floyd Green calls on OR to help solve issue with JPS and NWC, which is affecting residents. Member of Parliament for South West St. Elizabeth Floyd Green has called on the Office of Utilities Regulation OR to help resolve what he says is a joint issue with the Jamaica Public Service and the National Water Commission. Mr. Green explains that for years, one or more water pumps in his constituency stopped working, leaving residents seriously disadvantaged.
I have an issue with my constituency that seems to be a joint problem with JPS and NWC, where almost every week one or more than one pump goes down in my constituency. And the notation that I get from the NWC indicates that the pump has gone down because of an issue with JPS. It normally reads that due to JPS single phase, there is a challenge and the pump is not working, and as such, we don't have water. So it appears that both companies have been unable to solve this problem for decades. So it may be a matter that definitely requires the intervention of the OUR, because I'm not sure why the utility companies have been unable to, among themselves, work out the provision of power for the pump, so much so that literally every week.
The maintenance program that we have, we are looking at individual pumps and moving. We're not doing all of them at one time, given, of course, resource constraints, but we are working within at individual pump locations to get them up to standard one by one as we go along. In some cases, more than one at a time, but that is an active program that we have been pursuing since earlier this year to get the NWC pumps across the parish up to standard so that we have less outages happening and less single phasing, etc. So we actually have been doing the data collection in terms of what are the issues there, and based on the priority orders as agreed with the NWC, we have been addressing them systematically.
Police Federation Chairman begins contempt of court proceedings in continued bid to be reinstated. Chairman of the Jamaica Police Federation, Corporal Roy James, filed an application in the Supreme Court seeking to have Assistant Commissioner of Police Andrew Lewis committed to prison for failing to comply with a court order. James has stated in his affidavit that Lewis has failed to comply with a November 17 Supreme Court order that be made immediately reinstated to his job with full pay. Justice Tara Carr had made the order for reinstatement when she granted James leave to go to the Judicial Review Court to seek to squash the decision of the Police High Command that he be indicted with reduced pay for comments he made at a funeral of his colleague. The rule of law says no one is above the law, and in this case, court orders must be respected, says Attorney-at-Law Hugh Wellman, who is representing James. Lewis, who is being represented by King's Counsel Peter, has filed an appeal against last month's order. James stated in his application for contempt of court that Peter had said in reader comment that there is non-compliance with the formal order because there is a pending appeal to the decision of the learned judge. In the court document, James states that there is no appeal on the judge's decision. Even if there was an appeal does not operate as a stay. Therefore, there is no legal basis for failure to comply with the order of the learned judge that the applicant be immediately reinstated with full pay, James outlined in his application. James states that the failure to comply with the court order is a warranted disregard of the court order, which amounts to a contempt of court, with the only remedy being imprisonment. King's Counsel Peter told reporters on Tuesday that the application for leave to appeal the Supreme Court order is set for January 21. He said his office was served with the papers of the contempt of court proceedings, and he will deal with the issue in due course. James was indicted in July for comments he made at the funeral of a colleague. He had criticized the police high command for not paying cops their overtime money. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification